The Indian automobile industry continues to traverse through what's been a very difficult period, though within that, we still see some hope in terms of the larger picture and the long-term view when it comes to the attention from the automobile world on the Indian market. Joining me now to talk about that and what's happening specifically at Volkswagen India is the new Managing Director, Passenger Cars at Volkswagen, Mr. Arvind Saxena. Great to see you, Arvind, and after a nice long while, so good to catch up.
Same problem.
I think it's also the first time I'm formally sort of meeting you in your new role here at Volkswagen. So first, let me just sort of get a sense of how that transition has been for you, because the Indian market, as I mentioned, of course, remains promising, and the volumes picture remains sort of in the long term fairly ripe. But the challenges, whether you were at Hyundai or now at Volkswagen, remain the same.
Yeah, it has not changed, I must say. As you say, it is very promising, but yet very challenging market situation. What I really see here is that while long term, we have very good scenario, bigger volumes, good opportunities, but I think in a short run, we need to streamline a lot of operations here before we get to the bigger volumes or at a later stage. So that's a time where I am got in, because Volkswagen had a great start in the first 3 to 4 years. And this is the time which I think is mostly to consolidate our operations, to prepare next stage for the bigger volumes.
You know, the point you make is a valid one, which is when the VW brand came into the market, there's a lot of, not just an interest, there's almost a euphoria around that, because there was a lot of expectation, and consumers took to the products, like you said, in a very promising way. Your critics have argued that since that time, something has gone drastically wrong. I agree that the market itself hasn't sort of cooperated along the way, but what do you think it is that has disenchanted the customer in that sense?
No, it's not that customer is not interested in this brand, but I think if you really look at the way Volkswagen started, my understanding is that Volkswagen was a little late to enter in Indian market.
Sure.
So they really had to very quickly make up for the time that they've lost, and I think it's been done wonderfully well. In the whole process, since it ramped up so quickly, maybe certain fundamental issues got little less of attention from both, I would say, from dealer network side and also from the company side. And that's the stage we are in today. So maybe it is a bit of consolidation in order to prepare ourselves for future. And customer is interested, but maybe you are not seeing such kind of, it's not possible to sustain 30-40% kind of growth every year for any brand. So that's the stage we are in, where we are, in a way, if you really look at, we don't maintain those kind of growth in business. But as we are still very, very relevant, and we have very strong future here.
Now, in fact, I appreciate the fact that you take a candid view to this, because it sort of helps you perhaps plug those gaps quicker. The point you make about now being in that phase, since you've come in, let me put it to you in a sort of more personal way. What are some of those areas that you are looking at? How are you going about plugging those gaps?
See, clearly there are issues both at the NSE side and also from the network side. And network side, I think what is important for me is because that's where it's all customer-facing, operations are. It's not at a company level that I interact with customer directly. I mean, my interaction with customer is only through advertising and the brand building that I do directly. So more importantly, at the network side, how a customer is treated by the dealer, how we are able to touch him through his after-sales visit to our dealership, or the new customers, how they are treated, how the test drives. So these are basic fundamental of our business. And I think it's very important for us to build on those and create a kind of environment where we are sure that these fundamental issues are taken care by dealer. So this is through maybe training of the dealer manpower, interaction with dealer, discussing with them directly. I mean, I've been traveling a lot to all the places, meeting them, and giving my mind download to them, how I want them to work, and what I can do for them. So I think that's the stage I am in today, and I think that's very, very crucial for our future success. While from the company point of view, I think we need to do everything what dealer wants. If he needs a kind of campaign, we need to create those campaigns to increase our footfalls, create more interest with our brand. From the production side, how I can meet the demand that customer has, what he's asking dealers from that point. So all those things are being tackled by us here, but all the customer-facing operations are being tackled at the dealership.
And you're, of course, then, like you said, taking some of those points from the dealers and giving back solutions. So you mentioned that, one area is, of course, the national sales company. The dealers is the other area. What about product itself? Because, again, the kind of almost hype that we saw around the Polo, the Vento, in general, those segments have become a little bit cold now, I know. But how do you bring some of that energy back?
See, product, the way I look at it is not, frankly, in today's situation, the way business is structured, I think it would be extremely difficult that every time you bring in a new product. And more so from the dealer operation side, as I said, that it is a time where we need to prepare them for bigger futures. So maybe we need not have all the new product all the time. But our brands are very strong. I think the way Polo and Vento and Jetta Passat, they all have been developed in this market. They're still very, very strong. And what is important from my point of view is how I keep these brands and my customer connected all the time and how I keep them excited with it. So we have a very strong plan as far as, let's say, special editions are concerned. There are certain technology which will, make kind of what we internally call as a line extender. So there are lots of things which can be done. You don't always need a new product in new form, but the impact which you create is very similar. And I think that is one of the ways which we are looking at it at this point of time, is to keep the interest of our customer alive with my brands and still keep them excited with us. And that's what we are looking to. At this point of time, if you ask me, I have a calendar full for the next 2 years on those issues.
I'd love to know all about it.
So we are working continuously on it. And in addition to this, I think we also have two very important things. One is our Volkswagen Finance, which is truly offering a world-class product to our customers. I mean, today we are using it as a very effective marketing tool. If you have noticed in the last 3-4 months, we had very, very innovative finance packages for our customers. Clearly, in today's situation where the finance is so expensive for my customer, and there's one of the deterrent, I would say, which is not helping our industry, I think that's a very, very clear advantage to me. And that's what we are using it to the best. And second is our used car business, because again, the similar situation where market is tough. I think used car is another very good opportunity that is available. Of course, our overall population is still very, very low.
I was about to ask you that, especially.
It's very low. So that's where what we are looking at is if we can get customers from other brands come and exchange with me and take Polo or Vento or any other car that I have.
And those kind of, let's say, targeted campaigns is something you will focus more on.
So we have already started. We have got about almost 20% of our dealer on board as far as used cars concerned. Going forward this year, we hope to touch about 50% of our dealers on board for this. So which is, I think, would be another strength for us. And we have branded our used car business, what also branded globally is a Daswell Toto. So both together, I think finance and used car also would be very, very effectively used as far as our overall offering to a customer is concerned.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.